Hi, good morning from Los Angeles, California. Welcome and namaste. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Julie. Krishna, hello, beautiful souls. I'm so happy to see you. I know it's been a while since I hosted a live stream yin yoga class on Insight Timer, so I'm so excited to host this class again and reconnect with my community here on Insight Timer. I had to move a lot of things in my schedule to accommodate this time and this schedule, but I'm so excited to be here and share this practice with you. If you are new to me, welcome. My name is Maha Bodhi. I'll be your yoga teacher today. I hope you have your space set up. You have your yoga mat and you're in a quiet place. Turn off your notifications. Be in a place where you're not going to be disturbed. Bonnie, hello. Oh, welcome. All right. So lovely to see familiar names. If you're new to me, what we do here is that we get on our yoga mat and we really focus on the practice. So we're going to stay away from the chat box and the chat. And then after the practice is complete, I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to answer any questions you have and connect with you. But for now, let's go ahead and hop on our yoga mat and begin this yin yoga de-stress and deep stretch. All right. If you have two blocks, go ahead and grab them. It's always nice to have that extra support. And let's begin by finding a comfortable seated position here. And just finding that quiet place inside of you, sitting nice and tall. You can sit on a block if you need that extra support. It's always helpful to have the hips a little higher than the knees. Hands on the thighs or on the knees, just beginning to quiet things down. Slip the eyelids closed. Attention inside. Finding that place inside of you that knows how to be still. And in that stillness is really where all the answers reside. Let's begin by taking a full breath in through the nose. Send the breath down to the belly and feel the belly expand and the ribs expand, the chest expands until you fill yourself up completely. A gentle pause at the top, soften, relax. Open your mouth and exhale it all out to the very, very bottom. That internal cleanse using your breath. Full inhale through the nose, washing the body from the inside. Fill the entire upper cavity of your torso with the medicine of your own breath. Hold it at the top when you're completely full and let that medicine work its magic in your body. Open the mouth, exhale. Maybe you sigh it out this time. You give it a sound like a ha. Last round for good measure, a full, deep, slow breath in through the nose. Expand, open the chest. Pause at the top. Open the mouth and exhale it all out to the very bottom. Now just let go of any control in your breathing for a moment. Notice just this 3 breaths, the impact that they had. Everything you do, every breath you take, every thought you have, every action you take has a frequency to it and has an echo to it that permeates through your body. Take your right hand for Nadi Shodhana, peace fingers, right between the eyebrows, the thumb by the right nostril and the ring finger by the left nostril, using them to seal one nostril as you breathe from the opposite one. Seal your right nostril with your thumb and inhale through the left nostril for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, but soften and relax. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale through the right nostril for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain the breath for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right nostril for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold and seal for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the left for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the right for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale left 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale right 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, and 1. Release the hand. Take a full breath in through both nostrils. Open your mouth. Exhale. Keeping the eyes closed. Feel the echo of that. Feel the balance between the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. This state of homeostasis, of harmony, complete equilibrium. Keep your attention at the crown of your head. Stay connected with this elevated energy that you invoked, raising your frequency to a higher vibration. Soak it in. Inhale and exhale. Blink the eyes open. Slowly come onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position facing the front of your mat. And let's just begin by doing some gentle cat and cows here. So on an inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, look up. And on an exhale, round the spine, tuck the pelvis, tuck the chin, push the floor away from you. Link the breath with the movement. Inhale, you drop the belly, you fill the lungs with breath. And on an exhale, you round the spine and you push the breath out until you empty it completely. Inhale. Exhale. In and out through the mouth, that Ujjayi yogic breath. Making that soothing sound that brushes through the back of your throat. That is so, so calming and healing to the nervous system, signaling to the mind, signaling to the body that everything is okay. That it's time to slow things down. Finish your last round. Taking your sweet, sweet time, find yourself back into a neutral spine tabletop position. Take your right foot and place it outside of your right hand. Curl your left toes and slide that left knee a little bit back behind you. Take a look at your right knee and just make sure that the knee is right above the ankle, that 90-degree angle. Your right toes are pointing straight forward like arrows. And so the arms can remain straight with the palms flat on the mat. That's option one. Or you can grab your blocks or grab books or pillows, whatever you have, just to elevate a little bit. And you can lower your elbows all the way down and draw the heart forward, coming into what we call a lizard pose, which is a very deep, deep hamstring stretch. Breathing into the right side of the leg. Once you find your alignment, find your breath, that even ebb and flow of the breath, like an ocean wave, just washing the body from the inside. Breathing in, you're breathing in, and breathing out, you're breathing out. Allowing the breath to wash any stagnation in the body, uncorking any energy that really doesn't belong anymore. Opening the body from the inside, feeling that stretch, not only in the right hamstring, but also you're getting a deep, nice stretch in the left quad. So breathe into that and drop into this meditative state. This is a highly meditative practice. We hold these poses for very long periods, up to 5 minutes each. So see if you can allow the mind to kind of drop into the body. And so you're no longer thinking, but you're really feeling and you're being, and you're sitting with whatever it is that's showing up for you. You're not running away from it. You're not resisting it. Maybe even you close the eyes and you just drop into meditation. And just a few more breaths here. And see if you can begin to deepen the breath, signaling to the body that a shift is about to occur. And if you're on your elbows, slowly begin to press into your hands and straighten your arms. Remove your blocks if you have them. And begin to heel toe that right foot all the way to the left, dropping your knee to the right, coming into a sleeping swan pose, or what in yoga is known as a pigeon. But see if you can today not rush it and not sink all the way down into the hip. So a little bit of buoyancy here in the inner thighs. And really what you want to do is you want to wrap that outer left hip down. Imagine you're squeezing the inner thighs in and you're spinning the inner edge of your left thigh up to the sky. And notice when you do that, how immediately your hips get squared and they're leveled with each other. You're not dumping too much onto one side. You're not overcompensating. You can grab your block and place it right there underneath your right hip for support. So your goal really is not to sink all the way down until your right hip touches the mat. You actually don't want that. Lift the chest here for a moment, roll the shoulders back, take an inhale, and then maybe you lower onto your elbow and maybe not. And so you find that level of intensity that works for you. Maybe you even create a pillow for your head and you place one palm on top of each other and you rest your forehead down. And so you get to decide what variation works for you, trusting that you have a place in this practice, that you belong on your yoga mat, that it doesn't need to look a certain way. This is a practice of self-care, of well-being. You're here to tend to yourself. Allowing your breath kind of to be your own inner teacher. If you notice that you're restricting the breath, you're having difficulty breathing, or you're breathing too intensely or too fast, then maybe that's a sign that you need to modify. You need to do things a little differently. You hear me always saying that if it feels good, then you're doing it right. And if you're straining, if you're forcing, if you're jamming, you're really not doing yoga. Yoga is about healing. Yoga is about creating space in the body. And if you're restricting the breath and you're forcing the body in an uncomfortable position, you're really not healing and you're not creating space. And take a full inhale through the nose and a full exhale through the nose. Slowly press into the hands if you lower it onto your elbows. Remove your block if you put it underneath that right hip. And just lean over that right hip and swing your left leg straight out in front of you. Take your right ankle and hook it over the left knee. Heel toe that right foot all the way to the left, keeping that left leg nice and straight. Making sure that your left toes are pointing straight to the sky, so your left hip is in a neutral rotation. Find that length in the spine. Take a moment here to align. Option one, maybe you stay right here in half shoelace pose. Maybe you want to go a little deeper, so you just circle the arms up and over your head and take an inhale. And on an exhale, you fold. And maybe it's just a little bit, and that's okay. A lot is happening in the left leg. If you need to sit on a block, you can. You can even sit on 2 blocks. Modify, take care of yourself. And breathe, draw the heart forward.
And close the eyes. And you meditate. What is it? What is it that brought you here today on your yoga mat? What made you decide to roll out your mat and carve out this time for yourself? What seeds are you watering? What are you cultivating? That intention inside of you, wherever the mind goes, energy flows. Breathe life into your intention. If you want to use affirmations that helps to reinforce the mind, using the sacred words of I am, the most powerful words in our existence, and plug in whatever you need to plug in after I am in the present tense. I am healthy. I am powerful. I am strong. For those of you who want to stay here, stay here. For those of you who want to go a little deeper, just lift your chest up and bend that bottom left knee. So you come into the full expression of the pose, full shoelace pose. I'm going to face you so you can see here. So it's knee on top of knee, and the feet are away from each other. Place both hands on the soles of the feet for a moment, sitting tall. Breathing in, you're breathing in. And breathing out, you're breathing out. Take your left hand, place it on top of your right knee, and lift your right arm up to the sky. Take a full breath, inhale. On an exhale, bring it into a twist. Rest your right fingertips behind you and look over that right shoulder. A slight tuck in the chin. Find length in the back of the neck. Maybe closing the eyes and just visualizing your breath like a white light flowing in through the nostrils and working its way down through the back of the throat and moving down the spine through every vertebra until it reaches your tailbone. And then when you exhale, it moves into the opposite direction. It goes up the spine through every vertebra, through the back of the throat and out through the nostrils. As if your spine was like a pipeline and your breath is uncorking any stagnant energy inside this pipeline. And give it one last squeeze here. Look forward and unravel yourself. Take your right hand and place it on top of your right knee. And just place your left fingertips down by your side, or you can even place a block underneath your left elbow for support. And just begin to lean to the left and really anchor your right hip down. And so in yoga poses, we use certain body parts as an anchor so we can lift the opposing body part away from that anchor. And this anchor now is your right hip, and you're reaching kind of your upper body away from the right hip. And maybe you look down towards the left, so you even have this opening at the right side of the neck, and you use your right shoulder as your anchor as you drop the right shoulder down, and you reach your right ear away from your right shoulder. And slowly lift your chest back up. Remove any props you have. Place your hands behind you and lean back and unwrap your legs. Go ahead and just windshield wiper the legs a little side to side, knees bent, and maybe you look the opposite direction. Just getting some blood to flow into that right leg. And finish your last round and find yourself back into that tabletop position, facing the front of your mat. And this time you're going to take your left foot and you're going to place it outside of that left hand. We're going to find that lizard pose on the other side. Curl your right toes and maybe slide that right knee a little bit back behind you. Again, see if you can maybe squeeze the inner thighs a little bit in and wrap the outer right hip down and spiral the inner right thigh up to the sky. So you get that nice stretch in the right quad. Option 1, you stay here. Option 2, you begin to stack your blocks underneath your hands or underneath your elbows. And so the higher your chest is, the more gentle the stretch is. And the lower your chest is, the deeper the stretch is. And please be mindful and always remember that deeper does not necessarily mean better. More does not necessarily mean better. Listen to your body and take care of yourself. Sometimes you just need a gentle touch to get that synovial fluid and that blood flow to go where it needs to go. And maybe one side feels a little different from the other side, and maybe that side needs something different. It's not one size fits all. Customize this practice to meet your specific needs. It's actually a luxury, right? Anything that is custom made is a luxury. So instead of just following the generic instructions and the generic practice, really honor yourself and customize this practice. So your body kind of clicks into place. Take a full breath in, and then a long breath out. Begin to lift yourself up, slowly coming out of the pose. Left hand outside of left foot. You begin to heel toe your left foot all the way towards your right hand, dropping that left knee towards that left hand, taking your time, lifting your chest up. Again, wrapping that outer right hip down and spiraling the inner right thigh up to the sky. If you want to grab that block and place it underneath the left hip, I highly recommend you do that. Again, you can substitute with pillows or a blanket or a towel, anything that's gonna just give you something to sit on. Roll the shoulders back, open up the front side of the body just for a beat. And then maybe you lower one elbow at a time, or maybe you stack the palms and you rest your forehead down. So you get to decide. You know, I've been practicing these yoga practices for more than, about like 16 years now. This practice is so healing, so restorative, creates balance in the body. Especially if you're like me and you like to do the more high intensity workouts, those power vinyasas, or if you like to do other form of exercises like HIIT or cardio, lifting weights, Pilates. It's so, so important to balance the yin with the yang. I travel the world and I host these international yoga retreats, and we take things up a notch and we do these power master classes for about 2 hours in the morning, but then we double up in the evening. And so we have another practice in the evening that is a more of a yin practice or a restorative practice, or even a sound bath, a meditation, breath work. It's so, so important to have these meditative type of practices to kind of slow and cool things down. When you see people on these retreats, they just transform right in front of my eyes. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see when you just have those kind of 7 days to just focus on your well-being and take care of yourself, away from distractions and just being hugged by nature. You're hugged by all the 5 great elements, the Maha Buddhas. We go on these exotic locations in these resorts, usually overlooking the water. They're all beachfront, and so you have the sand underneath your toes. That's the earth element. And you have the water in front of you, the ocean. That's the water element. And you have the sun above you. That's the fire element. And then you have that ocean breeze that feels so refreshing. That's the air element. And you're just occupying space and you're just indulging in these healing modalities that really prepare you for life. And you come out of it completely transformed, like a different person. Allow your next inhale to be a little bit more full. And your exhale a little bit longer. And from here, slowly begin to lift your chest up. Remove that block if you have it. And lean over to the left and swing that right leg out in front of you. Pause here for a beat. Take that left ankle and just hook it over the right. Heel toe the foot all the way to the right. Keeping that bottom right leg straight. Find length in the spine. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you reach the arms up and you fold. And you can just let the arms kind of drape by either side of the leg. You can stay here if you need to, or maybe you get deeper into the pose and you bend that bottom right knee and you come into that full shoelace pose, stacking the knees on top of each other, placing your hands on top of the sole of your feet, your two precious feet. And from here, taking your right hand and place it over that left knee. You lift that left arm up to the sky. Inhale. On an exhale, you twist over to the left. Give it one last squeeze here. Look forward, unravel yourself. Switching hands, left hand on top of left thigh. Maybe you grab that block and you use it for support underneath the right elbow and you just rest your right forearm on the block and you lean to the right and you look down to the right and you just create that space in the left side of the body. And the left side of the body is more sensitive and there's a lot more going on in the left side of the body. It's where the vagus nerve is, it's where your heart is. And so you just need to take extra care of your left side. And so much research has been done on the vagus nerve and vagal theory and how to really restore healing just by breathing into the nerve, chanting and meditating and stretching has so many healing benefits. So much study has been done in Harvard University that it's even been said that it's been helping with Alzheimer's and dementia. And just these movements, these deliberate, intentional movements, and placing your intention in a specific body part and sending it healing energy. Sometimes just humming, in yoga we chant Om and we chant all these mantras, but even if you just like hum like a and what you're doing is that you're auto-tuning the vagus nerve through the sound vibration that's coming from within you. And you can even feel it out right now. Just hum like a You kind of feel the vibration and the frequency in the body. Slowly lift yourself up back to a neutral spine. Place your hands behind you and lean back. Release the legs. Should feel pretty sweet. Go ahead and windshield wiper a little side to side. And really feel that rotation in the hips. You're rotating the hip into the hip socket. Feel that blood kind of rush there. It's like oiling up a machine. And finish your last round.
And just swing your legs to one side and come into a tabletop position facing the side of your mat here. Especially if you have hardwood floors like me, you just want your knees and your ankles kind of padded up on your mat. And you're gonna open up your knees a little wider than your torso, and you're gonna bring your big toes together to connect, and you're gonna come in a very wide version of a child's pose. So a little wider than you would do a traditional child's pose, and rest your forehead all the way down. Arms reach forward. And just breathe. Breathe into the inner thighs. You're also stretching the tops of the feet and the shins. Think about it all day. Your feet are flexed when you walk. And very rarely do you extend the feet this way. Now, for those of you who want to stay here, feel free to stay here. We're going to transition into a frog pose. So you're just going to begin to lift your chest up, and you're going to come onto your elbows, palms flat, and just begin to lift your hips up. Maybe you walk your elbows a little bit further out in front of you if you need to, so the elbows are like underneath the shoulders. And then open up your feet a little wider than your knees and flex your toes. And this is a very deep, deep stretch for the inner thighs. But try not to pull into the kind of inner groin muscles. So be mindful and don't overstretch it, don't overdo it. Just breathe here. If you want to place a block underneath your forehead, sometimes it's nice to do that, to have that extra support. Maybe you spin your palms to face the sky. And send the breath where it needs to go. Notice your reaction. Are you resisting the pose? Are you hating the pose? What is the voice in your head saying about this pose? What are the stories that you're telling yourself about this pose? Remembering that it's only difficult if your mind says so. And really, your mind is just a collection of images that were processed through the brain. And the brain processes these images through your senses. So through everything that you are, seeing, looking with your eyes, through everything that you're hearing, through everything that you're tasting, through everything that you're touching. And the brain takes these sensations and begins to create images like photos. And it collects these images until they're a collection of images or a nation of images, or what you can call imagination. And really, that's your mind. Your mind is the result of what is happening in your brain. And so we get caught up in this imagination. We get caught up in this movie that we're watching. And we get caught up in these characters, including our own character. And it's only that when we sit quietly within, is that we notice that we are not the character, we are not the images, we are the observer, the one observing these images. And when you have these moments of clarity, that's what it's called, an awakened experience. And so can you just be the observer in this moment and not react? From here, slowly begin to remove that block if you have it. And we're going to come back right where we came from.
So slowly begin to bring your big toes together to connect and lean back onto your hips and come back to that wide-legged child's pose. Dropping your forehead down. See if you can reach your arms a little further out in front of you. Crawl your fingertips forward as much as you can. So you're also getting the stretch in the upper body and both sides of the waist. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly begin to walk your hands in towards your chest and begin to lift your chest up. Plant your hands behind you and slowly bring the inner thighs together to connect. Come into a kneeling position just for a beat. If you want to sit on a block, go ahead and sit on that block. Hands on thighs. And for a moment, imagine that you're drawing a line with your nose. And you send your nose all the way to the right, keeping the chin parallel to the earth and just kind of looking over your right shoulder. And then draw that line all the way to the other side, all the way to the left. Let's do that 2 more times. Come all the way to the right. Draw that line to the left. Last one, remembering to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And come back to center. Now we're going to draw that line up and down. So inhale up to the sky. And exhale, chin to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Opening up the front side of your throat. And opening up the back side of your throat. Slowly bring your chin back to neutral position here. You can stay on that block if you have it. What we're going to do is you're just going to straighten your legs out in front of you, and it really helps to stay on a block. And you just come into a wide-legged stretch here, a straddle stretch. If you want to remove that block, you can. Take an inhale, both arms reach up and tilt your torso towards your right leg. So your chest is parallel with the right leg. And then fold over that leg. You grab whatever you can grab. You don't even have to grab the foot. You can just rest the arms by either sides of the legs. Slowly drop your chin towards your chest, your forehead towards your knee, and it doesn't need to touch. Just head that direction. And keeping the chest low, just begin to crawl your hands all the way to the opposite side and just folding over that left leg. Grounding that right hip down, remembering that we use these body parts as anchors to keep us in integrity and in alignment. So we're never overcompensating just to get deeper into the pose. It's not about how far you go. It's about how much space you're creating. And slowly begin to crawl your chest now down the middle and see how far you can fold. Maybe you lower onto your elbows. And you just melt into the pose. Finding that pelvis tilt forward. Drawing the belly button down, down, down to the earth. And slowly begin to crawl your hands in towards your chest. Placing your hands underneath your knees and gently bending your knees and pulling the legs in towards you. If you have that block, you can remove it. And one last time, you just windshield the legs side to side. Should feel pretty good in the inner thighs here. Feeling the work that you just did. This is one of my favorite sequences. One of my favorite yin practices. I do this almost every night before I go to sleep. And slowly find yourself into a reclining position. You're going to lie down on your mat, but before you lie down, grab a block with you so it's nearby. Hug your knees into your chest for a beat. Rock a little side to side. Bring the feet flat on the mat. Your knees are right above your ankles and your toes are pointing straight forward. And your feet are just about hip distance apart. You can even grab the other block with your foot and place the block between your feet, just keeping the legs in integrity here so you're sure that your feet are hip distance apart. And slowly begin to lift your hips up, coming into a bridge pose, and slip that other block right underneath your sacrum here, the low back, and tilt your pelvis a little bit forward so you have that pelvis tilt towards your face. Modify as much as you need to. So the higher the block is, the deeper the back bend. So you want it either on the medium height or the low height. Extend your arms by your side. Maybe the palms face the sky, this gesture of openness, since the whole front side of the body is now open and pointing up to the sky. And how much are you ready to receive? How much are you capable of allowing healing, allowing joy, allowing compassion? Too often, you're just in your own way, caught up in those images that your brain processed, caught up in the characters of your own movie. The good news is you can change the movie. You can change the channel. That's what it means by being the writer of your own story. Your brain's job is to do what you tell it to do. You're the director. Your body's job is to do what you tell it to do. Trust yourself. It is safe for you to trust yourself. This notion of I am enough, I am worthy,
I matter, and what I have to say matters. I have value to offer this world. And if you want to straighten your legs, you can. Just getting a deeper stretch here. And if your legs are straight, slowly begin to re-bend your knees. Lift your heels, come onto the tips of the toes, and gently remove that block from underneath you. And one vertebra at a time, lower your hips all the way down into the mat. Pause when you get there. Keep the feet flat, knock the knees together, and open up the feet, maybe a little wider than your hips. Ground your hips down. Maybe you place your two hands on your frontal hip bones and just feel the lower pelvic floor kind of release, the low back touch the earth. This grounding, nurturing energy. Allowing the spine to neutralize after that back bend. And from here, maybe you take your foot and you just slide that block off the mat. You can either bring the soles of the feet together and the knees open wide. You come into a reclining butterfly, and maybe you even slide those blocks underneath your knees again. Or you can come to an early Shavasana and straighten your legs all the way down. We're just going to do one last final pranayama before we seal the practice. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Take a soft inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. We're going to do Viloma number 1, which is interrupted inhales. You're going to inhale for 2 to the belly, and then you're going to pause. And then you're going to continue 2 inhales to the chest, and then pause. And then 1 exhale for the count of 4. And it's all in and out through the nose, Ujjayi breathing. And I will guide you through all of it. Let's begin. Through the nose, inhale to the belly for 1, 2, pause, but soften and relax. Inhale to the chest for 3, 4, pause. Through the nose, exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Inhale belly, 1, 2, pause. Inhale chest, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale belly, 1, 2, pause. Chest, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round, inhale belly, 1, 2, pause. Chest, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a soft inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. And straighten your right arm by your side. Straighten your right leg all the way down. Straighten your left arm.
And straighten your left leg. Shavasana. Feel the space that you made. Feel the echo of your practice. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Fully embody. Feel your presence inside of your body. And allow your next inhale to be a little deeper. And your exhale a little longer. Rubbing your thumb against each finger pad. Wiggling your toes. Moving your head a little side to side. Massaging the back of your skull. Reaching your arms up and over your head, interlacing the fingers and flipping the hands inside out, just feeling that stretch from head to toe. Hug your knees into your chest. And slowly roll on to one side and just cradle your head. With your arm, create a pillow for your head, coming into that fetal position. And slowly press into one hand and guide yourself up into an easy cross-legged seated position, sealing your practice full circle right where we started. Floating your palms together to connect. Bringing your thumbs to your third eye for clarity of thought. Bring them to your lips for thoughtfulness of speech. And bring them to your heart for compassion towards yourself and others, allowing your practice to guide you through everything that you are thinking, saying, and doing. Gently bow your chin to your chest, and the light and the goodness within me sees and honors the light and the goodness within you. Namaste. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you for joining the practice, and it's always an honor guiding you through your practice. Much love, much gratitude to each and every one of you. And I'll see you next time. I'll see you next Sunday. And I'm gonna come here to